Hello guys and ghouls, welcome to Doll Chat. I have not had enough doll news to make a video like this in a long time, but Monster High is back, and so is this series. As of now, Monster High is shooting their first live-action film and their second musical, the first being Boo York, Boo York. It will air on Nickelodeon along with an animated series in 2022. I grew up watching Nickelodeon shows like SpongeBob and The Fairly OddParents, so I know they can absolutely balance being suitable for young children and entertaining for teens and adults if they want to. Here is the complete cast list for the main characters. I am so glad to see that Ghoulia is back because Monster High and Cleo were not the same without her. There will also be several new characters, like Claudine's dad, Apollo, and Mr. Komos, who I'm guessing is based on a Greek myth, which sounds very promising, as Monster High's mythology-based characters always soared high above the bar. The film will follow Claudine, who is half human and half werewolf, as she struggles to embrace all parts of her identity. I thought that werewolves were already people who transform into wolves, so doesn't that make someone who is half werewolf and half human only 1/4 wolf? I could be thinking way too far into this, but let me know what you think her character will be like. I think people with multicultural upbringings and an identity that contrasts from the majority will likely relate a lot to her story. Claudine will be the new girl at school instead of Frankie, and her first friends will be Frankie and Draculaura, so a lot of this feels very familiar already. We have yet to see a trailer, and fans are already worried that the return will disappoint longtime fans as much as the 2016 reboot did. I'm actually optimistic about this and overjoyed that Monster High will surprise us with new content and products soon because it shows that our voices as a fandom were heard by Mattel. I also think the design and branding teams are smart enough to learn from the shortcomings of the first reboot and apply our feedback into the new production. The only thing I'm upset about is that Garrett Sander, the mind behind the first Monster High dolls and arguably some of the best, won't be the leading designer anymore. My hope is that Monster High will remain grounded in the elements that created such a loyal fanbase in the first place, like learning to see past others' appearances and appreciate one's individuality. I would love to see a much darker aesthetic than other doll lines, monstrous features like stitches, fangs, and claws back, as well as full articulation and high-quality fashion. I think Mattel realized that the decline in quality that we saw before is what deterred casual buyers and collectors most, because the most recent Monster High dolls have had the amazing quality that we fell in love with from the start. Speaking of the Skeletor dolls, they may continue in parallel with the new playline expected to follow the film and series characters because of how much of a hit the Skeletor dolls are. The last doll, Greta Gremlin, sold out in under 2 minutes, and fans are still raving about the first one. I would be glad to see more characters from Tim Burton's films made into dolls. I think his style and Monster High's are a match made in gothic heaven. Before Monster High's production came to a stop, prototypes were made for 3 series that were never released to the public. The first one, and my favorite one, is Ghostly Tea Party. There are 2 versions of each doll with slightly varying hair colors and skirt design. Ari, Laguna, and Claudine would have come with tea sets and treats, all in a beautiful translucent theme. Although I made the choice not to collect reboot dolls because I prefer the original styles and faces so much more, I would 100% buy this Ari Huntington doll. Her hair looks amazing. I wish I could touch it right through this photo. The fan and floating tea set she has are also super cool. What do you think of these dolls? The second unreleased line is Howling Hoodies, which looks like a reboot of Dead Tired, but with onesies and an extra outfit for each character. The recolored pets look a bit odd to me, but the idea is so cute and their hoodies look so soft. These dolls were so close to being released that they're actually listed on Amazon with official photos to this day. They're just not in stock. The third unreleased line is Rainy Day. For those of you who don't read in French, it simply says that Laguna, Ari, and Venus are ready for a rainy day with their umbrellas, boots, and raincoats. I love rainy days, so I would love this line if it wasn't part of the reboot. I don't mind all of them having a repainted version of Draculaura's signature umbrella or simple shoes, but the lack of articulation is what really kills the appeal for me. Those 3 prototype lines aren't all the news I have for you, thanks to Garrett Sander. He has been surprising us with one post after another, but the one that shocked me the most was the prototype for the first Monster High dolls ever. I like Claudine's hair and Draculaura's outfit here more than the dolls that we got. It looks much higher quality with more ruffles, that pin, and the spotted sleeves. Would you buy these prototypes if they were sold? I, for one, would love to have this Draculaura in my collection. She's so beautiful. Garrett also gave us a look at designs for an unfinished Fradie Hawkins dance line, which would have featured Abby and Heath in complementary outfits of fire and ice. They may have been in a 2-pack for the first time, too. The line also would have included a second Headless Headmistress Bloodgood doll. These custom dolls and art made by fans show us exactly what we missed out on. The last gem I have for you is a photo of how Claudine and Claude were originally going to look in the sports line. Laguna and Draculaura also have somewhat different hair to their current dolls, but I think the curls look much better on Claude than the hairstyle he ended up with, and that Claudine looks great both ways because she's Claudine. That is all for this doll chat. The series will continue with characters who should have been made into dolls and my ideas for 2022's redesigns. Be sure to turn on notifications and subscribe so you don't miss it.